Hello, Roman Lions Church. Brian here. And my challenge today was to go and give you the Beyond the Status Quo questions of this week. And I tell you what an absolutely amazing way to end our sermon series on questions Jesus asked, just with the message that Bryce gave yesterday. And I have so many questions that I just tried narrowing it down to 3 questions. But I wanted there to be also a focus in regards to these questions and tie it into our mission as a church to live up, in, and out. So I have a question in regards to each of those areas. But one of the big things that stuck out to me during yesterday's message was just the false expectations that we as humans have. Right? In each relationship between, our relationship with God, our relationship with other believers, and then our relationship with the rest of the world as well. And so I have these 3 questions for you. The first one is our relationship with God, our up. Do we have a falsehood as to what we should expect from God and who He is? Many of us can have false expectations in regards to that from, maybe we think He's a vending machine that, we ask for what we want and, He'll give it to us. Another one is, some of us can look at Him as, a dictator, right? Like this is how He goes and these are His laws and, He's just a dictator, right? With no grace or anything like that. And then some of us might even, especially I know for me, when I was a newer believer, I was like, man, He's just a Debbie Downer, right? Eliminator of fun. Like what fun can I have if there's all these rules and expectations and everything like that? Or do we think of Him, do we have the expectations of Him of being holy, of Him being perfect, of Him being a father and wanting to have a relationship with us? I think this is a very important question to ask as to, what do you expect from God and who He is? But then too, I had the challenge of, having the false expectations of, how we live amongst each other as believers, right? And so in our relationship with others, do we have that false expectation that Christians and believers are meant to fit a certain mold of person, right? Or do we actually give the freedom for people to be, who they are, who God has created them to be in a Christ-like way, right? Because we all have different personalities and not everybody's going to mesh with each other, right? That's the beauty of the church is, that God connects us even though we are all different. But, do we have that false expectations that believers have to fit a certain mold of personality, right? And then last but not least is our relationship with the rest of the world and living in an out manner. And so do we have that false expectation as to what a pre-believer should be like, right? Do they have to fit a certain mold? Oh no, this person is just too far gone. I don't think that they could ever, come to know Christ. Or, this person seems like they have a good life. I don't, do they really need Christ because it seems like everything's going good right now? Right. We have to eliminate those false expectations as to, the molds that we put on people and the expectations that we put on not only people, but God as well. Because we often have these false expectations only to make ourselves feel better, right? Rather than living a life of humility, of servanthood, of togetherness and things like that. So those are my 3 questions for you today and the rest of this week. I've definitely greatly appreciated the sermon series, the questions that Jesus has asked. But I hope that these questions have challenged you as well.